All right, Education Committee, Tuesday, September 18th, 2018. We have a quorum. We have one bill, BL 2018-1319, Mendez Virtua Rosenberg, amends the Metro Code regarding tax increment financing. Councilman Mendez.
Actually, I'm going to move it first so we can have discussion.
Second?
Second.
All right, appreciate the consideration. First of all, this bill is amendable on third reading, so if there's any questions, we can keep talking about it. This basically expands what we did with our TIF reform in 2016. At that point, we said for any new TIF loans, we were going to set aside for Metro's own use, the percent of property tax revenue that's used to pay loans for Metro's own bond debt. And so that was about 15 cents of every dollar that we decided that already a couple of years ago. This expands it to not only keep for Metro the debt services taxes, but also the schools fund taxes. And that's about 31 cents of every dollar of tax increment. So going forward, for every $100 worth of tax increment on new TIF loans, instead of all 100 cents going to pay developer loans, Metro would hold back the 15 cents that we already decided a couple years ago and 31 cents for the schools fund. This isn't novel or something I made up. There are cities all across the country that are deciding that the balance between financing development and paying for the things we do is off kilter, and all sorts of cities around the country have been holding back the schools part of the taxes. I think the biggest one is Chicago in December of 2016 did a large transit-oriented development to redo two of their train lines going north out of downtown and set up a pretty enormous TIF district. And they set it up where the schools piece stayed with the city because they had overdone tax increment financing. And so that's what this would do.
So is it going to, is it going to interfere with tax increment financing for development or redevelopment districts altogether?
No, I don't think so. I look at this as sort of big projects and small projects. I mean, there's no question that if you are only saying, if you're saying, well, 55 cents of every dollar of tax increments available to pay development loans and 45 cents or so for taxes in schools, then there's less money available to pay on development loans. I think it's a balance. I think on really big projects, I know there's some developments that are $120 million buildings that have $4 or $5 million worth of TIF. I would make the argument that there's plenty of increment on projects like that to still pay the same amount of loan size. On smaller projects, smaller $30, $40 million projects, whereas now the available money might fund an $8 million loan. After this, maybe it's going to be 5 or 6, not the full 8. So it's definitely less in development loans. But I'd make the argument, one of the things I put on everybody's desk was this Metro debt dashboard, and it shows, it shows frankly that while we've built ourselves an international city with an international sport and soccer stadiums and A++ everything, we clearly have done it using debt. And we clearly have done that. And I don't mean that as a compliment or an insult, it's just a fact. And after 35 years of using debt to build ourselves a fabulous international city, the question is whether we need to recalibrate the balance between what we invest in development and what we invest in kids and paying our own debt service. And I think at this point it would be appropriate to make sure we keep some meat on the bone to pay for schools.
That was basically what I was going to say, is I really do appreciate the balance of making sure that we take care of those that have and take care of those that have not. And our kids are our future, and I'm glad to see that we are trying to do something to invest in them.
Councilman Mendez, do you want to just speak briefly about the school's line item as it relates to MDHA and how this legislation helps?
Sure. Mechanically, the way Metro pays for TIF loans is So you're a developer and you build a building that's got a tax increment financing loan. You pay the full amount of property taxes like everybody else. It goes to Metro, and Metro automatically splits the money up into our 6 main funds, including the schools fund and the debt services fund and the general fund. And then Metro, this is just like debits and credit stuff, will debit the schools fund, for example, its share of tax increment financing revenue and send it over to MDHA. So every year on the school budget, it's line 7777, pretty memorable. It shows a debit out of the school budget over to MDHA. It's up to around $9.5 million. Per year, and honestly, just the Donaldson TOD one, if we had passed that, after all that TIF lending was done, that alone would have spiked that line item from $9.5 to $22 million a year. So it's, if you imagine transit-oriented development all over the city, it's material. And a primary motivation of this is to make it so if we're going to do a whole bunch of transit-oriented development, we can't just take the increment from 150 acres at a time and not give any money to schools. We got to leave something on the bone to operate on. So after we cycled through all the existing TIF loans, and we were only on TIF loans after we passed this, then that line item would go away because there would no longer be this debiting MNPS for money to MDHA.
So help me understand, is this retro on TIFs that are already out there, of just anything that's going to be coming out new?
No, it wouldn't be lawful to do it for existing ones because there's developers and most importantly banks that have lent money
Sure.
with the understanding of what the payment stream was going to be, so we couldn't mess with that.
So, Mr. North, this particular move right here, what do you think? What do you think it means to schools going forward? Should we do this?
It will certainly eventually stop the increase of line item 7777, right? It will initially slow it pretty quick. It has escalated so fast in 16, 17. That line item was $6.7 million. For 17, 18, the budget increased it, and of course, finance department, Metro Finance Department tells us what it's going to be. Increased it to 8.3 million, so a 23% increase. The actual for 17, 18 was an additional $1.5 million to 9.8 million. So the actual increase from 16, 17 budget to 17, 18 actual was 46%, over $3 million. That, and of course, some of the ones that already exist will continue to increase in value, I suspect, but that will slow down and eventually zero out.
One more question, if you don't mind, Chair. And so, because you moved to a site-based budget, does it in fact fit wherever the TIFs are coming from in order to affect those particular areas, or is it done, and I think I know the answer to the question, but I want to confirm it. Does it get spread out against all cost, expenditures, revenues collected, et cetera?
It comes off the top.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it comes off the top.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Where 7777 is usually an accounting trick to make it look like we're spending more money on schools than we are. This year, with it going over budget, that meant real money coming out of classrooms and going to TIF loans, right?
That was it. Yes, it was 1.5 million over budget. So it's straight out of 958,000 was part of the supplemental request, right? So that, but there was another $500,000 that came out in August.
I can't remember the numbers. What's a 1-point move on cost of living adjustments for teachers?
For a 1% right pay increase for every employee
Across
the board,
right.
would be 5.2 million.
5.2 million.
So that's about a 1.9% pay increase, equivalent to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, yeah, we're good. Yeah, any other discussion? Ready to vote?
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, and we are adjourned.
Officially call the Health and Hospital